Welcome back to the Takeout. Former California Democratic Congresswoman Katie Porter has gone viral. Again, this time it's not for her signature whiteboard. You might remember she used those in congressional hearings to ask really tough questions, became kind of famous for it. She's the front runner in California's gubernatorial race. And recently, like the last month or so, she threatened to end an interview with a CBS News investigative correspondent named Julie Watts after an exchange the two had over voters in the state who supported President Trump. Let's watch that.
What do you say to the 40% of California voters who you'll need in order to win, who voted for Trump?
How would I need them in order to win, ma'am?
Well, unless you think you're going to get 60% of the vote. You think you'll get 60%. Everybody who did not vote for Trump will vote for you. That's what you're saying.
In a general election? Yes.
Well, to those voters. Okay, so you...
I don't want to keep doing this. I'm going to call it. Okay. Thank you.
You're not going to do the interview with us?
Nope, not like this. I'm not. Not with 7 follow-ups to every single question you ask.
Every other candidate has answered our follow-ups.
I don't care. I want to have a pleasant, positive conversation in which you ask me about every issue on this list. And if every question you're going to make up a follow-up question, then we're never going to get there.
CBS News California investigative correspondent Julie Watts joins me now. Julia, every reporter is sensitive to this. You don't want to be the story. You are not the story. You asked a set of questions, and Katie Porter responded. I'm not suggesting you're the story. You're not. You just asked questions. Her reaction to you has become not only viral in its own sense, but lots of other Democrats seeking the nomination for governor have responded to it. Walk my audience through that process.
So I think it's important to note that she did continue the interview, and we did go on to ask more questions. And you can see that actually in the full 30-minute segment that we have on YouTube. This is a 3-minute segment that was excerpted out of a 30-minute segment where we asked all of the candidates similar questions on the same issues. And we did that so that voters could really see side by side, not just how they feel about the issue, but how they answer when we push back and we sort of ask those tough follow-up questions, right? But I think even in greater context, Major, we had over 13 hours of interviews with 12 candidates on a dozen different issues. And it's a shame that this is the one thing that's gone viral. But frankly, my hope is that it will get people to then go watch the full interviews so they can see, the reason that we actually do this job.
Exactly. Ask questions, get answers, and then hand those answers off to those who are going to make decisions about who they choose to support, who they choose to vote for. Redistricting was something you asked all the candidates about, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes, it was one of many issues. And listen, in California, it is one of the primary issues. We are being bombarded with what is called Prop 50 ads, for Prop 50, against Prop 50. Early on, this came sort of initially from Governor Newsom and then the Democratic supermajority in California, and they dubbed it the push to stop Trump's power grab. But 40% of California voters voted for President Trump in our last election. And so it was a really fair question that, frankly, 11 out of the 12 candidates answered. And that was, okay, well, the Democrats anyway, so I guess it wasn't all 11 of them, but the Democrats who supported this along party lines, we said, okay, you support this. However, 40% of Californians support President Trump. And so what do you say to those folks to sort of get their vote back or to explain to them why you're supporting this? And to their credit, they all gave really interesting answers. And some of them said, listen, it's a really tough decision. And for them, it was a party line decision.
Right. And not every conversation that has a follow-up question is by its very nature hostile or unfriendly. It's just a follow-up question. You know that. Perhaps Katie Porter is being reminded of that with all the public reaction and virality this has created. Julie Watts, it's always a pleasure to have you. Thanks so much for your time and your efforts.